Hey guys, it's Ian here. As you can see, it's kind of late out right now. I'm wearing my kimono. I'm about to go to sleep. I'm also wearing my South Park sleeping pant things. For our project, we chose two questions. We made up two questions, and then we asked a bunch of students around VCU and filmed a video of those questions, and just saw what the public opinion was from a very haphazard standpoint. The first question was, do you think that people should be drug tested when applying to food stamps? I would have to say, in my personal opinion, that it really depends. I think that if a person has a family, then no. If they're using those food stamps to feed their family as well as themselves, I don't think they should be drug tested, because think about all the people out there who are their parents, yet they have a drug problem. You know, they'll be snorting cocaine or snorting Oxycontin or heroin. You know, there's so many different drugs. So many different drugs to choose from, for one thing, and then you pick your favorite and you do that every day, and you know, eventually you're going to take a drug test for some food stamps when you're poor as shit, and nothing. You're not going to get it, and your whole family is going to starve because you have a drug problem and you can't quit. And you know that is your fault, yes, but in that kind of situation, you got to watch out for the family, and the person needs to get help. And maybe if they're getting help, they won't have enough time to work, so that'll just keep the whole family from getting food. So basically, I think that if a person has a family, they should not have to be drug tested. However, if the person is getting food stamps for themselves, yes, I think that they should be drug tested. I don't think taxpayers should have to pay for people that are abusing drugs. I don't think they should have to pay for their food. You know, like in the case of a family, the kids are not abusing drugs. It's not their fault that they were put into this situation. Whereas some single people who are getting food stamps for themselves, they had situations they could have said no to. Possibly, you know, there's always an exception to the rule, but most often than not, the person had the choice to start using drugs. They have the choice to stop, and I think they should be tested if they're going to get food stamps, because think about it. If they're getting free food, then they're going to spend more money for drugs. Whereas if they don't have free food, they're going to have to eat. And if they don't want to eat and they're going to use drugs instead, well then morbidly they will die, or something will happen. You know, they'll go to the hospital and they'll have to go to rehab or whatever happens. But the situation is, do we really want to pay for somebody's food who is just going to use the money that he could have been spending on food for more drugs or alcohol or whatever? Because another thing about food stamps, you can't buy alcohol or cigarettes or vitamins or any of that stuff with food stamps. It's just food. So I'm gonna say I don't think you should be drug tested for families, and I do if you're a single person applying for food stamps. The second one, the second thing that we're talking about is, do you think it is possible to raise children in a gender-neutral way? Well, we can talk about this in a bunch of different ways, but I think that gender-neutral parenting is possible. Getting a text message, not important. I think that gender-neutral parenting is possible because when a kid's born, it's just I think it's much better, in my idealistic mindset, that a kid should be able to choose. Now, as that kid goes to preschool or daycare or whatnot, whenever the parents are away, that's where the problems start, because there's going to be other people in society, if it's the other kids, the kids that are hanging out with your kid, who is a gender-neutral kid, or the members of the daycare who are employed for the company, or you know, the school teachers, or any of that stuff. All those things are going to affect the kid as a whole. Whereas if it's just the parents telling them they can be whatever they want, but everything else society is telling them differently, the kid's going to be confused as shit. And that's the truth. That's going to happen. And it sucks, you know, because I think I am all for people being able to express the way they want to. You know, if a kid wants to play with Barbies, that's fucking cool. If he's a guy and he wants to play with Barbies, do it. I did it. If a girl wants to play with soldiers, fine, let her play with soldiers. That's awesome, you know? There's plenty of women soldiers. Everyone does what they want to do, and that's fine. I don't think that kids should be forced to do anything they don't want to do.